Hi, fellow truth seekers. Andrea Robinson here with you this afternoon, and I want to speak to you further on the importance of having a divine experience, experiencing the divine, if you will. When you have a divine occurrence, it puts you in touch with that part of you that is infinite. We live in a finite 3D world. Even our bodies are finite. They will have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they will go back to the earth in some form or the other. But it's housing that part of us that is eternal, that's infinite. And think about something that's infinite. What does that require? What does that mean? When something's infinite, it requires freedom, it requires space, and it requires expansiveness. So you're being put in touch with that part of you that requires that. And that's why so often your soul will feel nurtured and fed when you're in nature. You can experience that vastness. And it will also feel nurtured and fed when you're praying or you're centered and meditating. And I know that I experience that when I'm traveling, because I can experience that space and that freedom and that newness and that ongoingness. Also, when you have a divine event or a divine occurrence, it's also helping you to make a realization that you are an individualized expression of God, and that all the living things around you are individualized expressions of God. And that gives us a sense of value and respect and reverence for other living things. And it also gives us a sense of connectedness, that we're not separate. We are connected on the macrocosm, on the big picture, if you will, to everything that's living around us and everything that will go on eternally around us. And when you experience the divine, it will help you to rise up and out of simply living from the perspective, the lower vibration of the ego-based nature. It helps you to ascend and to utilize and to come from the perspective of the mind of Christ, that higher place within you. A Course in Miracles clearly outlines 6 perspectives of the ego-based nature, and I want to go over those perspectives because they're very important, and this will help you to live more freely from that place. Number 1, the ego-based nature says, I am that which I own and that which I have. Number 2, the ego-based nature says, I am that which I do and that which I accomplish. Number 3, the ego-based nature says, I am what someone else thinks of me. Number 4, it says, I am separate from other people and other beings. Number 5, it says, I am separate from that which is missing in my life. And number 6, it says, and probably most importantly, I am separate from God. It's impossible to be separate from God. And it's impossible to be separate from that which is missing in our lives. And let me explain that a bit further. When Jesus did the greater works, he said, these works and greater can you do. Because he knew that when you started to live from a higher vibrational place, a higher frequency, from that mind of Christ and wisdom of God within you, you could start to manifest that which was missing in your life, or the appearance of that which was missing in your life, because everything you need and everything you want and everything you desire is here. So what you do is get in touch with that ability to manifest it. And you also realize that you're truly not separate from another person, another living being, because we are all a part of one another. And Jesus, coming from the highest vibrational mastery level, was teaching us. He was telling us that we can rise above. We can ascend from that lower nature, that ego-based nature, into our Christ mind, our higher selves, and live from that perspective. And we become cognizant that there is no loss in the divine mind of God. There is no lack in the divine mind of God. There is no illness in the divine mind of God. And therefore, we can help our fellow man, our fellow beings, live from that perspective as we all rise more and more into that level and enjoy the life that Jesus said he came for, that we might have life and have it more abundantly. And it's interesting to me that when Moses encountered God in the form of the burning bush in the wilderness, God was instructing Moses to go to Pharaoh, and he told Moses to tell Pharaoh to set his people free, meaning the Israelites. And Moses, being nervous, and I don't blame him, scared probably to death to go ahead and complete this fast task to confront Pharaoh, said to God, "Whom shall I say sends me? Lord, whom shall I say sends me?" And God, having and knowing and being everything, could have said, tell him the one that owns all this, who made all this place, who has the precious metals, the gems, who made the universe, and heck, who could make another universe. God didn't say that to Moses. He said, tell Pharaoh, I am that I am sends you. I'm going to say that one more time. He told Moses to say, I am that I am sends you. God was affirming his beingness. He was also affirming your beingness. So be very careful when you use the words I am, because what you're doing is you're invoking the name of God. You're invoking the name that God gave himself. So when you attach lower vibrational energies like I am sick, I am depressed, I am sad, I am mad, internally or externally saying that out loud, what you're doing is you're attaching those vibrations to the name of God. So it's very important that we attach words like I am love, I am living, I am alive, I'm resourceful. So be very mindful of using the words I am. And know those are the words of the name of God. And as you set out to experience the divine, you will become much more a host to God and much less a hostage to your ego. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you've enjoyed today's teachings, please subscribe to my channel and you will be the first to know about further teachings, news, and updates. Until then, may God bless you, and thanks again.